Yeshayahu!
Yeah?
Welcome to your Siyum.
It's my Siyum?
Yeah, it's your Siyum on Mishnayos Brachos.
Oh.
There's 9 chapters.
I was saying non-form.
Very good. There's 9 chapters in Brachos, so we're going to ask you a couple questions in each Mishnah. Is that okay?
I don't know.
And then we're done. We're going to eat. Look at that cake. What is on that cake? Wow, it looks like someone's saying Shema. I wonder if that has to do with this Mishnayos, does it?
I wonder.
Okay, let's start.
Mm-hmm.
When is the time that you start saying Kriya Shema for Marav?
The time that the Kohanim go to eat their truma.
Right, when is that?
That is when there's 3 stars.
Those kind of Kohanim, what kind of Kohanim are? They probably did what during the day if they're out there start eating Truma at night?
They bathe in the mikvah.
They bathed in the mikvah. Very good. So they're Tevel.
Yum.
Very good. And why do they have to wait till nighttime?
Because that's how long you have to wait.
Right, very good. That's unfair. Okay. And then they have to, you're supposed to say Shema. And there's several opinions about when you're supposed to say Shema until night. Can you tell me about some of the opinions?
The first opinion is until the end of the first.
When is that?
4 hours.
Good. What's the second opinion?
Midnight.
Very good. What's the third opinion?
Until dawn.
Roman Gamliel's kids went to a party. Tell me about it.
They went to a party and they said to their father, it's past midnight. Can we still say Shema?
What do you say?
Yes.
What examples did he give?
Burning the fat meat in the.
Roman Gamliel, very good. Roman Gamliel said he agrees with the Chumam. Why did he say? Why did they say until Chatzos if they're allowed to do it until Amud Shachar?
To distance you from an Avera.
Good. The time to read Shema in the morning is a little bit different. Tell me how to know based on looking at colors. It's time to read Shema in the morning.
There's one opinion that says when you can tell the difference between blue and white, and a different one says to tell the difference between blue and green.
Very good. Okay, and then you're allowed to read the Shema until 3 hours into the day. What happens at 3 hours into the day?
The princes wake up.
Okay, and actually you all have to read it all day. What happens if you read it all like at noon? What happens?
Then you still got the mitzvah. You just don't get the mitzvah of doing it on time.
Very good. Beis Shammai says that how you should read Shema. What should you do when you're reading Shema at nighttime? What should you do with your body?
You should stand up.
At daytime, and what should you do at nighttime?
Oh, right, and you should lay down at night.
All right, he bases on the pasuk of. Right, Beis Hillel says you should just read normally. He based on the pasuk of Lecha v'derech, but therefore, what does he do with the pasuk of Shachar Mecha?
He says it's not how you should stand up, but it's when.
Very good.
When you're getting up and when you're going to sleep.
Right, Tarfon. What did he do?
Him?
Yeah, Tarfon was almost he was almost attacked by Listim, by bandits. Why? What did he do?
He was walking, and then he noticed it's time to say the Shema. So he laid down and endangered himself with robbers and stuff.
Because he held like the opinion of?
Beis Shammai.
What did Chazal tell him for holding like the opinion of Beis Shammai?
What you could have gotten.
How many brachos do you say before and after the Shema in the morning?
2 before, 1 after.
Nighttime?
2 before, 2 after.
If it's a minhag malkum to say the long bracha, are you allowed to say a short bracha?
No.
The long bracha, okay, that's good. We say at Pesach time inside the Haggadah that we're masking Yisiras Mitzrayim. Can you tell me about Rav Elazar ben Azariah? How come he was like 70? What happened?
Hashem made a nace since, he doesn't look too good when he's an 18-year-old. So Hashem made a nace that he became really old.
Yeah, and then what did he say? What's the drasha he said?
Okay. He said that the third paragraph of Vayomer.
Right, third paragraph Shema, very good.
No one said that at night time because the mitzvah was tzitzis, a mitzvah of dead. But he said no.
What's the drasha he made on about the Kol Yimei Chayecha? What's the drasha he said?
You shouldn't only say it during bed, but you should say it during night.
What did Chum say?
They should say even after Mashiach.
Very good. And the first chapter. So what happens if you're reading the Shema from a Sefer Torah and you want to keep in libo if it's time? What happens if you have kavanah?
Then you did it.
You fulfill what?
You fulfilled your mitzvah.
Right.
Lo yotzei.
And what happens if you didn't TV and Lebo? You didn't have contention?
Lo yotzei.
Between prakim, you're allowed to say hello and goodbye to a
To a kadosh person.
kadosh or kadosh mitoli? To a
Wait, what?
not a kadosh person.
What was the question?
Between prakim, you're allowed to say hello and goodbye
Not
hello,
a yira.
to a kavod person. And when between prakim is between kavod. And what is a yira person? When are you allowed to answer a yira person? You gonna say it?
And then, what answer is that?
Yeah, in the middle. In the middle of what?
In the middle of a pasuk.
No, middle paragraph, right? Between the pasukim. Okay. Tell me the 5 places that you're allowed to answer someone.
Between the first and second bracha, after the second bracha before Shema.
Right.
Between the first paragraph of Shema and the second, between the second and the third.
Yeah.
And between the last paragraph and the last bracha.
And Rabbi Yehuda says, what about in the emet, the yatzav bracha?
Don't do it.
You're not allowed to say the break, right? And why does Yeshua Makacha says Shema is before V'haya? Why? In order to
accept the yoke of Shemayim.
Right. Okay. Very good. Someone who reads it has to be able to hear it. Yes or no? Yotzeh, if he hears it.
He definitely is Yotzeh if he hears it.
Right.
If he doesn't, it's an argument.
Good. Someone who's at the top of a tree. Time for Shema. What should he do?
Say it.
Right. And what about Shemona Esrei? He has to.
He has to climb down, say it, and go back up.
A chassan on the night of his wedding, does he have to say the Shema? He does not. What did Rabban Gamliel do?
Said Shema.
Why did he do that?
Because he thinks he's perfect.
No, that's not nice. What? Because what?
Because he thinks he has to accept the. He thinks he can't leave Olam Haba for even a second.
Very good. Not only was that one exception of his practices, also when his wife died, he took a bath. What did his students say when he did that?
What in the world?
And what did he say?
He said, I'm an Icar.
Istinus. Very good.
Istinus.
What does that mean?
It means I get all sticky and weird.
I can't, right. And a third example is something different. He had a slave named Tovi, an Eved Kanani. What happened with that guy?
You're not supposed to accept
Tanchumim, right?
Tanchumim from people.
But he did.
Because he was like Eliezer. He wasn't really Jewish, but like he converted. He didn't convert.
He's Eved Kanani, but he was
Jewish.
He was not Jewish. He was kosher. He says, right? Okay. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, does he say you're allowed to say the Shema in your wedding night, and what did he say? Not everyone's like my
father.
Very good. Someone who has a dead person lying in front of them, they're patur from what?
Shema.
And?
Shemona Esrei.
Very good. And not only, who else is patur?
The people holding the coffin.
Who else?
The back of people holding the coffin.
Who else?
The front row.
Who else?
The people who's bearing it.
Very good. Anyone's over. Very good. If you are in a shura, the line's up for condolences, who are the people who are not patur?
The back rows.
Very good. Why are women and children slaves patur from Shema? Because they're patur from all.
Wait, what?
Why are women and children slaves patur?
All mitzvos with the time.
Very good. Positive mitzvos. Very good. Okay. If you Ezra Hasofer made a takana that Baal Kari is not allowed to learn Torah, so nonetheless it's because Shema is deraisa. What do you have to do to say Shema if you're Baal Kari?
You just say in your mouth.
Very good. And do you say the brachos before and after?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the one bracha you do say? After you eat. What do you say?
Benching.
And why is that one special?
Because that is deraisa.
Very good. Okay. If someone is davening Shemona Esrei and he realizes he's Baal Kari, what should he do?
He should skip to the short version.
Right, do the short version. Very good. If someone's inside of a mikvah going into and then kind of the time for Shema comes, what should you do?
he should squiggly the water.
Very good.
And say it.
What happens if there's poop in the corner?
You should be 1, 2, 3, 4 almost away from it.
Very good. The time to finish Shmoneh Shacharis is Chatzos, but we technically daven Mincha all the way up until
what's it called?
Well, one opinion is Plag Mincha, but the other opinion is
until the moon rises.
Until the end of the day. Very good. And then Musaf. What's the opinion about Musaf?
You can do it all day.
And what's the second opinion about it?
You have 7 hours.
Perfect. Now, Rabbi Yehuda Mekanya used to daven when he did what? When he went into a best medrash and
he left.
And what did he say? When he came in, what did he say when he left?
When he came in, he said, "I hope I don't mess anyone up." And when he left, he said, "Thank you for making me successful."
Right. Rabbi Gamliel used to say you to daven at least one Shmoneh Esrei a day. But what did Rabbi Kiva say? How do you know if you do a long or short one?
If it flows out of your mouth,
right.
Screw. If it doesn't, don't.
Very, very good. Rabbi Elazar. Okay, let's get that one. If you go into a dangerous place, you should daven the long or short one.
Short.
Very good. If you're riding on top of a donkey, what should you do?
You should get off.
And you can't get off, then you should?
Look away.
And if you can't look away, then you should?
Close your eyes.
And do what?
And think of the Kodesh Gedol.
Right. And what happens if you're riding on a boat or a wagon or a raft? Right, because you can't get off. Right. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah used to say that Musaf, if there's a chevar ear, especially in a city, then what do you have to do?
Then the main person of the city, like the mayor or chief, should say it for everyone.
Right. The Mishnah says that you have to daven mitoch koved rosh. You have to have the kavadik when you daven. How kavadik did the Hasidim Harishudim used to be? What did they do?
They used to learn for an hour before actually.
Right. And even if a king said hello to them, would they answer?
Nothing.
And what even if a snake coiled around their leg, would they do anything? If a snake coils around your leg, how should you know if you should stop your Shmoneh Esrei?
If it's poisonous.
Very good. Mashiv Aruch Mina Geshem, where do you add it to davening?
What?
Mashiv Aruch Mina Geshem, where do you add it to davening?
Oh, Milchama.
Right. And then what else do we add during davening, certain times of the year?
In Brachos, I know.
Right. Anything else we add sometimes on Motzi Shabbos?
Oh, right. We add Havdalah.
Very good. There are 3 cases that if someone says something, you quiet them down. You stop them. Can you remember any of them?
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear.
1, if they pray for the past.
No. Yeah. That's where I'll tell you. It's the first example. That's good. That's right. But this is in Shmoneh Esrei specifically.
Oh, right. If they bow twice.
Right.
They ask for the good.
Right. Okay. And then the third one is if they say, "What about a mother bird?"
If they ask, "May you have mercy on us?" Like
right. If someone messes up while he's a shliach tzibor, he should be placed. Where should that person start from?
The replacement should start for the beginning of the bracha where the person made a mistake.
Should you refuse to do that?
No.
Very good. A Kohen, if he is the shliach tzibor, is he supposed to say Amen after after the Birkat Kohanim? Very good. Okay, someone who is davening for the tzibor and he mispronounces the word, that's a Simon Ra. Rav Chanina ben Dosa, he was such a good davener that when he davened for someone to live or to die, he knew that they're going to live or die. How do you know?
If Hashem accept
how the words came out of his
mouth.
Very good. What's the bracha you say on fruit?
Thanks.
What's the bracha you say on wine?
Hagafen.
What do you say on vegetables?
Adama.
What do you say on bread?
Motzi.
What happens if you say the bracha of what happens if you say the bracha on fruit, but you say hadama? You say hadama, but on fruit. What happens?
Oh, you are good to go.
Right. What happens if you say the bracha on vegetables for fruit? You say appropriate eights on a vegetable. No good. Right. What happens if you say shachal on everything?
I mean, that's what the bracha means.
Very
so
good.
that's fine.
Okay. Very good. Technically, if you say hamotzi on something, it covers every single thing in the
meal.
Right. Okay. If 3 people are eating together, and they are are leaning down together, then one person can do what for them? They're all, for Bracha Rishona, they all are leaning down, then what can that person do?
Oh, right, he can say Kiddush for all of them.
Say a Bracha for them, very good. Okay. Okay, so next one. If 3 people are eat together, what should they do after the meal?
They should
say a Z.
Say a Zimun.
Very good. How many people? So how much food do you have to eat to have a Zimun? At least day. If 3 people eat, tell me what happens if 3 people eat together. What do you say?
Oh, you say Nivu.
Neva.
Nivarei.
And what happens if 4 people?
Brachos.
And what happens if 10 people?
Nivarei Chalokim.
And what happens if 11 people?
Nivarei Chalokim.
And what happens if that's one opinion forever? And what happens if 100 people?
Oh, right. Nivarei Hashem Elokeinu.
Right. And what happens if 101 people?
Brachos.
Okay. And what are the other 2 numbers that goes up for?
1,000, 10,000.
Very good. Okay. If 3 people ate together, are they allowed to separate? Tell me the numbers when you're allowed to separate. Go every number straight up. 3.
3, 6.
6 allowed to separate into what?
6 are allowed to separate into 2 groups of
What would tell me the numbers 8 would be allowed to separate into?
They would be allowed to separate into 4 and 4.
Or? Trick question.
They can.
5 and 3.
5.
Okay. Yeah, why not? So 10. When is 11 allowed to separate? When is 10 allowed to separate? Only once gets to?
20.
And when? Okay, very good. If two separate groups are eating in the same house, how do you know if they can bench together?
If they can see each other.
If one person. Very good. So Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, a bunch of machlokas is about how to have a suda. Beis Shammai says, explain what Beis Shammai says about the yom versus the yayin.
Okay. Beis Shammai says the only reason you have hagafen is because you don't want the day to just be an observation. You want it to be an action, so you should put the day before the work. But Beis Hillel says the only time you say the day is in Shon Esrei when you're doing an action. So for all we know, it's the action that causes the day.
Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel have machlokas about Netilas Yadayim and Kiddush. What's the machlokas?
Beis Shammai says wash your hands before, and Beis Hillel says do it.
What's the main thing they're arguing about?
Beis Hillel said Beis Shammai says you can't have a tamei cup. Beis Hillel says you can.
Right. Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel argue about where the napkin goes. Where does Beis Shammai say the napkin that you wash your hands with go? Beis Shammai says, and Beis Hillel says it goes on the
chair.
Very good. They have machlokas about sweeping and washing your hands for my machronim. Beis Shammai says, what do you do first?
Beis Shammai says you sweep after.
You sweep first, and then he goes after. Very good. Okay. If someone uses if a candle is used for avodah zarah or basamim, can you say a blessing on it? Mm-hmm. What about if it's used for mason? What about if it's used just before avodah zarah, but not for avodah zarah, just in the home? Very good. Someone who ate and forgot if he forgot and didn't bench. Beis Shammai says he should
go back
to
place.
And Beis Hillel says just
have it in mind.
Right. How long do you have to bench?
Until the food digests.
Right. After benching, Beis Hillel has a custom to bring what? After you bench?
A cup of wine.
Right. Okay. We're up to the ninth chapter, last chapter. What's the first bracha in the ninth chapter? About what?
About a place where you see a place where a miracle happened for our fathers.
Right. Next one. Number second one.
A place in Eretz Yisrael where an idol got torn down.
Third one.
A shown of power like a tsunami, an earthquake, thunder.
Very good. Fourth one.
Fourth one. Fourth one is mountains, deserts.
Right. And what does Rabbi Yehuda argue about? What does he have?
Also the Mediterranean.
He says a bracha for that, right? What's the fifth one?
Is the bracha on good.
Very good. What's the sixth one?
A bracha on bad.
What's the seventh one?
A bracha on new things.
Very good. What's the bracha on new things?
This is part of it. Come on.
Very good. Are you allowed to say a bracha on the good things? If you say bless the good things, what else do you have to bless?
Bad things.
Right. Are you allowed to say a tefillah on the past?
Nope.
Give me 2 examples from the Mishnah.
One, I hope it's a boy.
When do you hope it's a boy or a girl?
Like when your wife's pregnant.
Right. Okay. What's the other example about a city?
A city, there was an explosion, and you say, "Oh, I hope it wasn't my family or."
Right. When you enter a city and when you leave a city, what are you supposed to say?
A bracha.
A tefillah, right? Ben Azai says how many?
2.
Well, the Tanna Kama says 2. Ben Azai adds how many? Ben Azai says how many do you say total?
He's 4.
Right. And what does he say? What are you saying?
He says when you're coming, you say two tefillahs. One you say thank you for letting me get here, thank you for letting me be here, and when you leave, you say a bracha, thank you for letting me stay here, and thank you for letting me leave.
Right. A person has how many yetzers?
2.
Very good. A person shouldn't act lightheadedly. Where inside of the Temple Mount?
What?
Where should you act with kavod on the Temple Mount specifically?
Pretty much all places.
Right. What's the place mentioned in the Mishnah?
The Kodesh Kodashim?
Wait, obviously, but there's a special place on the Temple Mount that it says when you're standing in front of that one place, you should make sure to act.
Oh, right. The East Gate.
What's special about the Eastern Gate?
There you can see the Iron Curtain.
Name me a bunch of things you're allowed to bring on the Temple Mount.
A money belt, a stick, shoes.
What else?
You're not allowed to spit.
Okay, that's good. And you also know what shouldn't you use a Temple Mount for? You need to get from.
Shortcut.
Right. In the Best of Mikdash, I used to add certain things to Brachos. And what's one thing that we, to finish, when we say hello to someone, what do we add?
Hashem's name.
That's it. Congratulations. Yay. Now, yay. Let's let him cut the cake. Sure, if you get a knife for him to cut the cake. Yeah, you get to cut the cake.
Oh, all right. Let's do this.
This is gonna be very
Thank you, Shmuel and Shreer, for making such a special cake. Shayna,
Cut the corner. Don't cut the people yet, you shall, right?
cake time.
Jesse, number 2, should survive.
Mazel tov
No, this
Shai.
one's Yosef.
Yosef.
It looks like a Yosef.
doesn't. Looks like a Mac.
It's a big piece, huh, Esther? Shayna, look at your cutting the cake. Whoa, great job. Yay! We show
Alright,
for
you guys
Brachos.
can take it
You want to
from
see a
here.
bracha mazonos for all of us? Finish with a bracha?
All right. Baruch atah Adonai